actually working. Because doing a quick test stream before using the Twitch inspector, and it doesn't tell you anything about your FPS because it's just a bandwidth test. So hopefully the quality is alright. So yeah, if you're watching this live or on YouTube, thanks for tuning in. So I'm hoping to do some Rocket League replay reviews for some people, and if this all goes well, I'm going to try and make this a regular occurrence. So I'm going to do the reviews in order of the people who got back to me first. So when I originally posted a thread on Reddit, a couple of guys got back to me then. That was like about 2 months ago. So the first review I'm going to do is for a guy called Scruffy. I think he said he was plat 1. I think he was just wanting some 1v1 reviews looked at. So I'm going to start off with Scruffy's and then I'll go through the rest of them. Alright, just gotta find it because I have like 10 million replays saved for some reason. Gotta be in here somewhere. Come on. I think they're quite far back because I think he gave me them not long after I posted the Reddit thread. And that was sort of, oh there you go, yeah, around sort of end of November time. So let's have a look at this one first. Alright, just gonna sort out the camera. Clear view. Right, so let's have a look and let's get into this. Yeah, I think I remember Scruffy said he was plat 1. So this is, I'm guessing, plat level 1v1 gameplay. So that was an okay kickoff. No one really won or lost it. But I think he ended up sort of turning back to go for boost, which is fine. Maybe want to be a bit more aggressive sometimes. Alright, so just go back a second. So obviously like an open net like that, you definitely want to just don't do anything too fancy, just put it in. Don't, you know, make it too complicated. And that 50-50 there, I'd say is a little bit rushed. So if we just go back again. So obviously you've kind of dived into the ball, but the other player has control of the ball. So you're not going to win that 50-50. You're better off maybe in that position if you want to challenge it. Sort of slow down, get a bit closer to the ball and then flip into it. And that way you're more likely to win the 50-50. That's okay. Well, we'll keep going with it. That's a good boost steal. Not a perfect flip, but it's confused the opponent. And he goes off the goal. So that was actually a pretty good play to get it past him. So the next kickoff. Again, another decent kickoff. Obviously it doesn't quite go the way you want it to. But that's fine. That's also a good technique there to... I'll just go back to that for 1 second. So just here, you don't have possession of the ball, but you need to kind of waste a bit of time to actually knock that away. Kind of forces the opponent to go back to their half and gives you a chance to get some boost, so that's actually quite a smart thing to do. And that's actually a really good challenge there as well. I don't know if you could actually tell when you were playing, but obviously the opponent was too far away to really challenge that. It's a bit of an unfortunate flip. So just a mechanical misplay, nothing too much you can do about that. Although, fortunate your opponent actually messed up the open net. So I'm noticing here you kind of like, you're not really you're not like dribbling with the ball on your car, and you're not also kind of bounce dribbling to kind of set yourself up for a shot. You're kind of just knocking it down the pitch a bit. Maybe you want to try and think about sort of bounce dribbling, and then once you get a bit closer, then having like a better shot. That's okay. This is good pressure on your opponent. I know you haven't got any boost, but you've got them kind of forced into the wrong goal, and you've taken the 100 boost from them, which is good. Unfortunately there, I think you were maybe it was a bit too aggressive in this situation. I'll just kind of skip back to it. So at this point you obviously take the boost, but you're facing, you know, the complete wrong way. So you maybe don't want to be, you know, messing around too much in the corner. Again, luckily they kind of messed up the open net, so you got away with that one. As well, like, you're not under any kind of pressure here. So like your opponent is, like, I'll just put this on free cam for a minute. So your opponent is not challenging you. So there's no reason to actually jump off the wall and try and do that. Like, if you just use your like the stick just to look around quite often, then you'll see what your opponent's doing. So in that situation, you've got plenty of time just to like let the ball fall off, knock it over, and then just sort of grab the boost. Oh, sorry, I've just changed the wrong bloody player. There we go. Okay. That's fine. So you've got the boost, you've got possession, and then you can start a new dribble. That's a decent save. Unfortunate miss there. And then this time your opponent is actually putting the ship. That's fine. We'll just continue with that. Ooh, that's a bit of an unfortunate miss there. And of course, ooh, low boost save. So that's a good save. Obviously it was a bit unfortunate to sort of miss the ball in the first place. Obviously around your own net you want to be like really careful with what you're doing. And this is sort of decent shadowing here. Again, you're not under like loads of pressure from the opponent, so I wouldn't worry about kind of driving up the wall and trying to get rid of it. But that was a good play to get it past your opponent. Unfortunately, that was a bit of an unfortunate miss. And that's a very good challenge to win the ball. So I think the key thing with making challenges is kind of like noticing when your opponent doesn't really have control over the ball. So like you saw, I don't know if this was intentional, but the opponent here let the ball kind of roll down the wall, and then they've knocked it with their car, but they haven't got the ball on the car, and they're not in the middle of like a bounce dribble. So really, they don't have control of that ball. So that's actually a perfect time to make that challenge. Bit unlucky they didn't actually end up going on target, to be honest. And again, another good challenge. Again, just a bit unlucky that it's gone all the way across the goal. Okay, so a misplay by your opponent. I'm just going to rewind this again, just a couple of seconds. So on the wall here, like, that's sort of like a risky place to make a challenge. You want to be kind of shadowing and more kind of point your car in the direction that your opponent and the ball are moving. So there you've kind of drove up the ball and you've sort of like side flipped. And like if your opponent had, you know, slightly better car control, they may have just sort of scored from that. Luckily they've kind of messed it up and then they've ended up with like a pool shot. Again, another decent kickoff. Okay, that's a bit unfortunate. So, you seem to be doing okay with the kickoffs. Obviously not all of them are going exactly where you want them to. What I would just maybe practice is You know, once you win the kickoff, just try and have like a shot as soon as you can. Just get a tiny bit of boost and just have a shot. It's a decent little bounce dribble, and that's actually a really good flick. So that's a really good play. Zlorp. I missed the first few minutes of the stream. What rank is this? I think Scruffy. This is the guy called Scruffy. I think he said he was plat 1 when he sent me the replays. So this is sort of around platinum 1 gameplay level. Oop, unfortunate. Sort of messed up on the kickoff. Yeah, plat 101s, yeah. I don't know what ranks he is in other game modes. You just told me the rank for 1v1. So that's a decent clear. You'll actually find... I'll just rewind this for a sec. I spent a lot of time last year and the year before stuck in plat in 1v1. And I found it quite a reliable method of catching people out. Is just to roll the ball up the wall and over their goal. And a lot of people in plat will actually mess up the aerial. I'm guessing Scruffy is maybe a bit higher in other game modes. Because obviously he just kind of goes straight up and clears it pretty well. But you will find a lot of plat players aren't confident on aerials. And you can actually just knock it over their goal. And they'll probably just mess it up. I think this was a bit of a wasted opportunity here. So like, as I was saying before, you got an open net, you need to just smack that into the open net. If you're not confident on hitting the shot, what I would do is like, you know, not smash the ball as hard as you can, but knock it forward, you know, while you're driving forwards. Even if it's not on target, you can always just correct the path of the ball later. Again, another sort of flip off the wall. I mean, you're already winning, so it doesn't matter too much. But that kind of flip is a bit sort of risky. But on the whole, that was an alright game. I think what you maybe want to look at is look at shadowing. So I'll find a few videos. I'll link them when I post the video on YouTube. But there's some really good videos on like shadowing and kind of how to follow your opponent around the arena, you know, while maintaining like a sort of safe distance. And in general, maybe it's just practice just general kind of ball control and, you know, like shooting and stuff like that. Your kickoff actually seems to be okay at this level, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Although what I'll do is I'll watch the next game, see how that goes. So I think, was this one like a loss? So this might be like a more interesting replay to look at. Right, so that kickoff was actually quite different to the ones that you did in the last game. There was no kind of flip until the very end, which is probably a bit slower. Okay, so I think here you've been baited into like a challenge which you didn't really want to make, because I think you must have saw the opponent sort of doing like a 180 turn to get to the ball, but you've drove straight into it. So like, unless you're really confident you're going to make that challenge, I wouldn't just sort of drive straight into the ball. That's okay. We'll continue with the replay and see how it goes. Okay, so yeah, like I was saying just before, so it looks like on some of these kickoffs you're just sort of driving straight into it. Actually, I think in this case you've actually hit the ball first, but then it's sort of rebounded off your opponent. Sorry, I'm just going to change the camera. I'm not used to these controls. How do we change the time? Alright. 5%. Let's go. So I'm not sure if your opponent's actually deliberately delayed this kickoff. But if you had hit it sooner into the side, you probably would have won that. You've got to be kind of wary of people doing delayed kickoffs in 1v1 because it can be quite effective. You know, if I'm getting beat by kickoffs constantly by one guy, I'll I'll try and delay them so that you actually get a second touch without another rebound, and that can be helpful if you're getting beat by a fast kickoff. Okay, so that was a bit better. So that was a bit of a faster kickoff, and you actually got possession, so that's good. That kind of shot, the chances of that actually being powerful enough to go in and being on target are kind of low. What you're probably better off doing back there is, I'll just rewind it again. So you win the kickoff. The ball's coming back to the middle of the pitch. Your opponent hasn't immediately ball chased. So what I'd probably do is turn my car around and either take a better high percentage chance shot on target, or catch the ball if you can and try and dribble or then flick the ball. That kind of backflip is not going to work most of the time. I think really on a very basic level you can kind of just say 1v1 is just about making the highest percentage plays possible as much as possible. So not taking shots that are gonna go in like one every 20 or 30 times. You're better off controlling the ball, having a more powerful shot, and maybe that's got a better chance of actually going in. That was a decent 50-50 and a decent 50 there as well. I think you're obviously a bit stuck because obviously you're facing away from goal. One thing I'd recommend as well, which I don't know if you are doing or just you're not doing it very much, but try and get into the habit of using handbrake, because then you can spin around very quickly and attack the ball, and that can surprise your opponent. Let's just have a look at this goal again. So obviously they've knocked off your backboard and you've sort of jumped, misjudged it, and again they've kind of baited you into the shot, into the challenge, sorry. So what you want to be doing is obviously approaching your opponent, but with you being so low on boost, I wouldn't be just jumping into that because you're not gonna be able to tackle them. So I'd drive, and then as soon as you get to about here, first of all, don't use a poly boost because you need to save that boost for making a better challenge. And by the time you get to here, turn around. So don't get baited into like a challenge like that. Get close enough, then turn around so you can actually effectively shadow your opponent. Because then if you turn around and they make that shot, you've got a chance of actually saving it. Okay, so you've actually, I think you must have realised in the game you were getting beat on some of these kickoffs, so that was actually quite smart to delay it. Because I think one kind of underrated aspect of being good at ones is adapting to your opponent. So like, if they're beating you on kickoffs, then you got to change something, delay it. If they're being really aggressive, that can be hard to deal with, and you got to know what to do to like get around that. So maybe demo them, or be aggressive yourself. So he's sitting in goal. This is kind of risky, so you need to be, so sitting in goal is appropriate sometimes, but with your opponent being so close, you basically need to be blocking their path towards the goal. So like, if we just sort of rewind this for a sec. So ideally in this situation, give me one sec. So right now, your opponent is about to dribble the ball. your car needs to be like here, wherever this intersection is. You need to be basically in between your opponent and the ball and the goal. Because if you can restrict, you know, their angle on goal, then you have a much better chance of saving that shot. If you just set in goal and wait for them to come to you, it's so easy for them to just score on you. So obviously, you sat in goal, you waited a bit too long to go and challenge it, and by the time they get close up, the goal is so big they can't really miss that. Kickoff wasn't too bad, I suppose. Obviously you haven't conceded from the kickoff, which is a good thing. So again, you've kind of like gifted your opponent possession of the ball. You know, like one of the most important things in ones is possession of the ball. So right now, you don't want to like just smash that because you're probably not going to score that. What you need to do is, you know, control the ball, dribble with it, bounce dribble, drive towards their goal. Maybe just take like a diagonal path. You know, force them to cover, you know, as much of the goal as possible, and you know, try and shoot in any gaps you find. You probably aren't going to score from a long shot like this unless it's, you know, like a perfect power shot. So maybe just think about keeping possession a bit more. And that was a risky aerial to go for as well, because again, you probably weren't going to score that. That was much better shadowing. So I think maybe by this point you realise you need to kind of match what your opponent is doing. So that was a good challenge. And a good challenge there as well. I think one thing as well is don't always like flip into challenges, because I'll just rewind this a little bit just to try and find the example. Okay, maybe these aren't good examples of what I was going to say, but like, you don't always want to flip into a challenge, because if you flip, you obviously then get propelled in a direction, and you temporarily lose control of your car. So, if you just jump, you at least have some sort of control of your car, and you don't, you know, get stuck going in one direction when you need to maybe just turn around. That was a decent kickoff, I suppose. I don't know if your opponent just messed it up, but obviously just sort of drove into it without really dodging or anything. So that's actually a good play. Your opponent is kind of taking a risk by challenging it because they have no boost. And obviously with a bit more control you can maybe knock it over them. So yeah, on the whole I'd say that was actually a good play. You kind of kept control of the ball and, you know, made a chance from that position. So again here, like I was saying, you want to keep possession of the ball. Obviously you won the kickoff, you've got the max boost. So now you want to catch the ball and dribble towards the goal. Hitting the ball into the corner like that, you're kind of just letting them have a chance to get rid of it. In this case, they have messed it up and you've got a goal, which is fine. But in general, you just want to take control of the ball and have a, you know, just like a really quick shot. Alright, I can't help you with that one, unfortunately. Yeah. So obviously you lost the kickoff. What you need to do is just like from here. Right. So dodge forwards, like right now. That'll give you a bit of speed. You pick up one little boost pad, and then you probably have a better chance of saving that. In general, you want to make sure you keep up your speed a lot. That gives you a better chance of, you know, catching balls and stuff. Okay, that was kind of like a risky challenge, obviously with you having no speed and no boost. But it was a good angle to sort of catch the ball, I guess. And you're doing well here to kind of take a lot of boost off your opponent, because obviously I think they're struggling to boost currently. That's obviously a very, very risky low percentage play, so I probably wouldn't be aerialing the ball in that position. It's a good bump. Bumping is also very underrated in ones. A lot of people think it's just rude, but to be honest, it's just part of the game. And if you get annoyed by bumps, then you need to just sort of get over it. It's unfortunate you sort of missed the ball. So that may have been like a good chance. Again, you don't want to be aerialing that because there's nothing useful you can do with that aerial. You're not going to score from there. And if you do actually hit the ball with any kind of speed, you're probably just going to knock it off their backboard and they'll just score into like an open net. So I wouldn't be going for kind of aerials in that sort of position. Again, low boost aerial, you don't want to be doing that because obviously you've used all your boost, you haven't got the ball, and then they've sort of scored from that. That was a good challenge there, obviously on low boost. But I think you must have saw your opponent was cutting into the ball, but your position was actually superior, so that was actually a good challenge. And at this point, obviously, it's game over, so you're kind of just messing around. So yeah, I'd say, like I say, you want to work on shadowing. So like I say, I'll link some good videos on shadowing and kind of how to sort of follow your opponent in ones. Because you're obviously going for like a lot of challenges where you're not in a really good position to actually win the ball. And like I said, the one other thing I did think you might want to look into, if you're not already, is using handbrake to kind of more quickly turn around and shoot or make challenges. So just watching those replays, I see you kind of driving around a lot, just like this, just like driving around, turn, turn, turn. But like, handbrake is like so useful. Just for like cutting into the ball and stuff. So like, let's say you're on like a dribble, like this. You know, and you can even fake with it as well. So like, you can drive, then just kind of fake it, but not actually drive into the ball. So maybe he's looking to kind of using handbrake a bit more, just to kind of like do stuff like this. Catch the ball, you know, change the direction of the ball, and that can kind of catch your opponent off guard a lot. And it's also good for recoveries as well. I did notice 1 or 2 times you kind of went for like challenges or like aerials, and then you're kind of like stopping and then turning around. What you want to be doing is, you know, if you've messed up like an aerial or a challenge, you know, you want to like use handbrake, turn your car around, and then just like start driving in the other direction back towards your goal or wherever you need to be. And you're going to save time and boost by doing that. If you think like, let's just do like a comparison. So if I jump up here and then just turn around normally, like that's fine. But if you like use handbrake and then boost, it is a bit faster. So yeah, you might want to look into like say positioning, shadowing, making more effective use of the ball, and handbrake for you know, recovering and saving a bit of boost and maintaining your speed, which is quite important in ones. So yeah, hopefully you found that kind of useful. Next on my list was Finch, who I think sent me some 3v3 replays. I think he might be Diamond, I'm not totally sure. Fortunately, didn't actually tell me his 3v3 rank. But I got the replay from ballchasing.net and it said it was Diamond on there, so I assume that's whatever rank he was at the time. So I'm just going to have to find that and take a quick look at it. Yeah, I think I need to just delete some of these replays because I have far too many here. It takes ages to find what I'm looking for. I think at the minute I have Bacchus mod set to just record like all ranked replays. So every ranked game it makes one of these, and I don't really need all these. Where is it? Come on. It must be down here somewhere because they sent me it not long after I posted the Reddit thread, and that was the end of November. So I've got scruffies here. These are the ones I've just done. See, before I started the stream, I went through all the replays to make sure I could see them all, and I could like view them, and they were all there. So I have no idea what I've done with this. Alright, save a bit of time. I'm going to quickly go off the game and take away all the replays I don't need, and it'll speed things up a little bit. Sorry about this, I'll just be 1 second. I save everything with Bacchus mod and then sort them with ball chasing and calculated. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. I need to really sort out my replays because I just save all of them, and to be honest I very rarely actually go back and look at them. Normally when I do look at them, I'll look at ones that I've actually manually saved and not ones that I've saved with Bacchus mod, because I'm only really interested in the the most interesting replays, which are normally ones that I just save manually. Right, give me 1 sec. I'm just gonna do this again. And what I'll do as well is I'll just stick yours back in the folder as well, so I can find them next. Oh, so I'm just trying to reacquire that replay from ball chasing for Finch, but for some reason it's not letting me actually re-download the replay. Let's just try that again. Okay, there we go. That's worked. Okay, it must be this one. I think what I need to do in future as well is if I get replays of people, I need to ask them to obviously rename them, or I need to do that myself before I actually do the stream. Save myself the embarrassment of having to find them later on. Right, so like I say, on ballchasing.net it said that Finch was diamond. I think his teammates and everyone on the team were platinum. I don't know how ball chasing works. I don't know if it takes the rank at the time and then saves that into the replay somehow, or if it just takes that player's current rank. I'm not totally sure, but I think it said it was around diamond, so we'll assume he's around diamond. Right, so So Finch on the blue team. Alright, let's go. So it's not a bad start. Obviously cheated up to begin with, which isn't a bad idea. But normally if you cheat up, you want to actually make sure you're getting the ball. It's a good clear as last man. Obviously your opponent, sorry, your teammates missed it, so you got to cover for them, that's fine. It's a good clear to stop Roxor from scoring that. Obviously you're just sort of playing safe as last man, so that's fine. That's a really good clear. So what you want to try and do at this point is score or put in a pass for your teammate. Obviously I don't think you could have counted on Roxor missing that, because obviously your normal assumption is going to be that your opponent makes a clear. So obviously I think that kind of took you by surprise, otherwise you may have had a chance of just scoring that open net. What you might want to do, if you're assuming that they are going to miss it, is smack it again off the backboard, sort of a knock it left, so your teammate coming in as the second man can have a shot. Because obviously that pass there is kind of difficult for them to get onto. So you transition back to third man, now back to first, that's good. Alright, so if you're driving through the opponent's goal like that, I would try and like demo one of them at least. Obviously you're taking boost, which is good, but if you can take one of them out of the game as well, that's even better. Looks like there's sort of a triple commit here, so definitely not bad, is still recovering. You're going for that, and so is Combat Vet. So if we just look at this for a sec, because really you are still second man. I wonder if Combat Vet has assumed you were switching back to third man, and he's gone up for the aerial at the same time as you. But luckily definitely has already got back to cover you guys, so it's not too bad. 0 boost, so yeah, you want to just tag out here, that's fine. And let your teammates go up because they have boost. That's a good little kind of flick of the camera. So really Combat Vet should have been on the end of that pass. I don't know what he was doing. But it's kind of risky for you to be all in the same place. Obviously, lucky at this level, your opponents maybe aren't going to take advantage of that. I think, like I say, I think Ball Chasing said the rest of the opponents were plat players. So like the triple commit isn't going to get punished as much at that level. So just try and make sure that you're not all in the same place as your teammates. That's unfortunate. Obviously, you're waiting for the ball to drop down. Maybe try and listen out for like the sound cues of other players being near you, and maybe try and just take a shot. But otherwise, I wouldn't be too unhappy with that. It's a good pass for definitely. Good save though. Unlucky. Let's see, I feel like you're in the right place at the moment. Although I think you've just kind of cut your teammate out of rotation. I don't know what definitely was doing actually. I think he's just drove off the wall. Actually, yeah. So I think at this point you've actually just cut rotation a little bit. Obviously I can't see the quick chat, so I don't know if your teammates said they were getting it or not, but they were already up the wall, and you were coming back into defense, so I probably would have just let them have it. So maybe something to watch out for. So yeah, the minute there's no one in defense, obviously Combat Vet has to get back and cover the goal. You're going to get full boost, so that's smart. Waiting for a pass in. Obviously it's not the best pass, so there's nothing you can really do about that. Decent pass for your teammate. Getting back into defense. wasn't the best clear. Maybe try and work on hitting that clear a bit sort of higher and further up the pitch. Or try and knocking it sort of more towards your teammate. Alright, so at this point you seem to be second man. Because your teammate is just sort of respawned and you're a bit too far away from the action to get involved. You want to be sort of like a bit closer as second man, but obviously not in the same sort of corner of the pitch as your opponent. Teammates are whiffing, so that's obviously smart to be back as last man. And obviously now you're back to second man, waiting for a pass. Which hasn't came, so obviously you're going to rotate back. So I feel like generally your rotation seems to be alright. Obviously I think you're playing with sort of lower ranked teammates in this game, so obviously it's going to be a bit tough to kind of read what they're doing. It's a good dunk on the wall. Unfortunately no one's there to actually score it for you. Again, combat vet. Don't know if you had a better angle on that, but obviously you both went for it. So I can probably just say it's his fault. Alright, so let's see what you're doing here. So you're last man. I guess you're now kind of second man because your opponent is gone straight into goal. And you're trying to challenge facing away from the ball, which is really tough. So maybe what I would have done there is so driven back, turn around, and then here handbrake turn, if you can use handbrake, and knock it up the wall or knock it away. Trying to challenge while you're facing away from the ball is really tough. Or even if you don't feel like you're in a good position, just make sure you use quick chat and say need boost, or like make sure you're kind of communicating that you can't make the challenge. Because in some situations a bad challenge is actually worse than no challenge, because you can just end up putting the ball into the middle of the pitch and setting up opponent for a good shot. So obviously your last man, smart, clearing off the wall. This is something I do, so I'm guilty of this. But this is not a very good clear. Like I say, I do this, so I need to also learn to not do this. Because obviously you're just kind of knocking it back into the possession of the opponents. If you can, like I say, you definitely want to be looking at the ball while you challenge, because it's much easier to do that. Or if you can't, like I say, let an opponent take it off you. So I think here as well, you've let's see. So combat vet is first man, he gets taken out. And really what you want to do is drive towards the back post, so just go left here. And let definitely not bad take that off you, because you've got no boost. You're going to have to go into the corner to get boost, and you can't actually make that challenge. So you're better off just going to the back post and just playing it safe. Especially at this point in the game, you don't want to be like conceding a really dumb goal with like 3 seconds left, because obviously then you're going to be left with no time to make a real comeback. I think you messed up your foot there, but nothing to worry about. And they've got an AFK. That's unfortunate. I think the team as a whole has kind of messed up the rotation there. No one really knew what was happening, which is unfortunate. Their AFK is back, so that's good, I suppose. So, yeah, I'm not sure what you were doing here, because you're kind of like first man, but you're not really in a position to get the ball. It's kind of fell to your second man. But then you've ended up kind of crashing into him and kind of losing the chance to have a shot. It's a good challenge, good shot, and that's the winner. That's good. So, the rotations and stuff seem to be kind of generally okay. You may just want to kind of have a look around and make sure you're not kind of cutting off your opponents who are in a better position to make a challenge. And when you are defending, make sure you're not going for like a really kind of weak challenge or like a challenge that's just going to end up passing the ball straight back to your opponents. Sometimes if you have the time, trapping the ball and then maybe taking it off the wall if you can, or catching it on the ground and then keeping it for a few seconds and then try and pass to an opponent maybe. What else? Yeah, just sort of having a bit more kind of general awareness is going to help. But on the whole, that wasn't actually like too bad a match. Like I said, just focus on not cutting rotation and just making sure that you can put in like an effective challenge when you are chasing the ball. But yeah, that wasn't actually too bad. So Zlorp, you're up next. I think you were telling me the other day that you are plat 2. Let's just find these. So I probably have time to do all of these if you want me to do all of them, or if you want me just to do the 2 that you asked for, which I think was this one and one of the banjo ones. If you just let me know which ones you want doing. If you want, I can just do all of them because I'm not really in a rush or anything. But I'll start with this one anyway, just because you did mention you want this one looked at for sure. I'm plat 1 to 3-ish. Okay, fair enough. So I think you said in some of these you're playing with like much higher ranked teammates, like champ level. So obviously that's going to be really tough to kind of match the pace. So we'll see how it goes. I think one of the kind of most important. Okay, this game's all plat. That's fine. So seems alright so far. The team is generally kind of not double and triple committing, which is good. I sort of found like myself, you don't really get really good rotations until you get into the sort of diamond ranks. So you can actually get quite far in plat just by just playing safe, playing a bit smart. So here, I think maybe you've obviously gone up for a challenge of second man, but you've just sort of taken full boost and then not be able to challenge it. Let's see. Alright, so there as well, you're obviously in the middle of the pitch. I think you saw your opponent going back, so you knew you could go up, which is fine. At that point, if you can, just like shoot on target. At plat level, there's a good chance you're going to score. I don't know if you were doing that or if you just messed it up or if you were just knocking it to the side. I'm not sure. To be honest, I don't even need to do like anything fancy there. You can just sort of drive into it in a straight line. It'll probably get some decent height on it, and you have a chance to actually score that. And there, obviously with no boost, you're trying to sort of challenge. Generally speaking, if you can't put in a good challenge, just tag out, let your teammate who's behind you deal with it. Obviously, if you're last man, that doesn't count because you have to make that challenge or you have to waste some time. But if you're not last man and you're not going to put in a good challenge, just leave it. Otherwise, you're just going to end up trying to make a challenge and then being out of position when it doesn't work. That's unfortunate there. Obviously, you didn't expect the close bounce. Some decent rotation there. Your teammate has obviously been bumped into net, and your other one is sort of off getting boost, I'm presuming. Ideally, you don't want two people just sort of being out of action, but that's fine. Here, you don't want to be up too far and at that side of the pitch, just because if they have a long shot, you're going to struggle to save that. Alright, let's just see that again. So yeah, it's a bit of an unfortunate challenge. You obviously don't want to be just sort of knocking it nowhere. I actually think you've done the smart thing here by going to the back post, because generally you want to keep the kind of rotation going in defense. So like, you know, your first man will challenge, the second guy, he'll be a back post, will then step up, and you then go to the back post. So that's fine. I think it's just unlucky your opponent couldn't actually block the shot. His front flips look really slow. I'm not sure. I haven't really been looking at the front flips, to be honest. I'm just looking at sort of, you know, general gameplay. That was a good shot. Obviously your opponent really didn't have a chance to save that, unless they'd sort of stay back a bit further. But that was a good shot. I don't know what Redditor's doing. He's just sort of standing there doing nothing. That's fine. So, sort of a risky position. Obviously, you got away with that. But if you just want to look as third man, like, you basically need to be in a position where you can obviously get into the play if your teammate is tagging out. But you also need to be able to defend the net if your opponents have a long shot. So here, like, you're too far up the pitch and probably too far to one side. So obviously if that was on target, you'd be, you know, conceding that goal. You probably aren't going to get back to save that. So maybe it's just something to think about. That's fine, sitting back. Again, that's sort of like a risky aerial to go for. You probably aren't going to reach that, and maybe it's your opponents, sorry, your teammates who are a bit closer. Maybe have a better chance of going for that. I have that bad habit pushing up too far. Yeah, I used to do that a lot as well in threes. Like I say, I generally have quite a cautious play style, so I've kind of, you know, unlearned that bad habit. It's just something you have to sort of think about while you play. I'm just gonna have a look at that goal again, just because I didn't really see what happened. So obviously you're up. Both your teammates are nowhere to be seen in defense. Let's just rewind that some more. So at this point, obviously you've gone for the aerial, you missed it, and that's fine because people are going to miss things. You obviously have to rely on your teammates to cover for you, but they've obviously messed that up. There's nothing you can really do about that. So obviously you're playing second man, that's okay. They've cleared it, your back is third, that's good. So that's a really risky challenge to go for, because you obviously have to aerial to make that, and your opponent is already so much closer to the ball, so you aren't going to reach that. What I'd say for those kind of situations is, if you know you're not going to make the challenge, don't make it. Because like I say, if you make a challenge and you miss, obviously the ball hasn't been, you know, stopped, and also you're then out of position. I think the best chance of you getting out of plat, if that's your main aim, is just sort of play it safe. Don't assume that your teammates are going to always be there for you. So yeah, I'll just rewind that just so I can see. So if we just sort of take this on free cam for a minute. So what's happening? So the ball's actually coming back. Really, Biggs hasn't made a good challenge there. Since you're last man, maybe you should have just stayed in goal. Obviously it's hard to process all that in the space of like a half second. You're hoping that Biggs is going to make a better challenge. But like I say, at this level, you can't always rely on your teammates to effectively clear the ball. So what I would have done is stay further back, kind of around the near post. And then maybe in a couple of seconds, then challenged it. Because by that point, if you did miss it, you've got your other teammate who is going to come in behind to then cover for you. And presumably by that point, Biggs would also be kind of rotating back around into defense. That being said, your teammate here should have also cleared it, but they missed. Like I said, you can't really help that. I suppose you can kind of argue that every goal you concede is not just one person's fault. It's like everyone's fault. You know, if you miss the ball, your opponent should be there to cover. Sorry, your teammate should be there to cover for you, and vice versa. So I just kind of focus on playing safe, and don't assume that your teammates are going to be making the best sort of clears and stuff. Again, that's sort of like a weak challenge. So too far away from the ball to be really clear in that. That's fine. Playing his last man now. Switch to the second man. So that's fine. That challenge there. Some people would look at that and go, it's pointless. But as you kind of get higher up in threes, just having pressure on the opponents is like really, really important. It's like constantly making sure that you're you know, challenging the ball. You're not letting them have possession for too long. So ideally, if you make a challenge and it doesn't really, you know, go anywhere, that's fine, because your teammates might be there to sort of pick it up. So that's smart leaving that. Good half flip to catch up with the ball. Rotating back, that's fine. So this is actually good, playing it slow. Because if you just smash the ball away, again, nothing's going to really come of that. I'm lucky that you've lost it though. Yeah, so I think games at this level are kind of hard to decipher sometimes, because everyone's making mistakes. You know, it's just as likely that the other team will make these same mistakes and you win the match. So getting up into like higher ranks, you kind of want to just make sure you're just sort of playing safe. You know, like I say, you kind of have a habit of going up too much as third man, so maybe to work on that a bit. And we'll watch another one. So I think you said it was another one of these two you'd have want to have looked at as well. So I'll look at this one. Let's see what's going on here. Right. That's fine. So getting back into defense. So I'm not sure what Jukebox was doing. He sort of like didn't make a challenge. Lol, yeah, I've heard lots of people want analyze replays below Diamond or Champ because there's too much that everyone needs to work on. Yeah, I think like there are some people out there that won't look at these because, you know, they'll just say play more or, you know, practice, you know, one thing, which isn't really like useful advice, I don't think. I think, you know, even if you do identify, you know, one thing that you need to work on, there's still so much other stuff you can always be working on at the same time. Yeah, I think it's a shame that people don't do more replays of kind of lower ranked players, because, you know, everyone, you know, anyone who is interested in improving should have that opportunity. Luckily there are some out there that will review lower ranked players replays. Alright, I think on the wall, maybe don't like go so fast into that, because you want a teammate to be in a position to receive a pass. and you're not really being challenged straight away, so you actually have time to like drive into that a bit slower, save a bit of boost, and then hopefully you can put a pass in that one of your teammates will get to. But I still think you ran a bit too fast, and so I missed it. So maybe you want to be a little bit sort of slower there. That's fine. Challenge, getting back into defense. So at this point, you're now first man in defense. So you may need to be out a little bit sooner. Just rewind that again. In fact, you could always, at this point, assume Jukebox is going to be in net to make a save. Obviously, it doesn't, there's no guarantee they'll make the save. So you can maybe think about challenging that slightly earlier, and before the opponent has a chance to like sort of flick it on. That's fine. You've made a challenge. You've got position back, so that's actually worked out quite well. So you're now second man in attack, but you're too far away from the action to receive a pass. So, like, if we just kind of look at where you've drove up here, so you've made the challenge. Jukebox has the ball. He's now first man. So you want to be like driving into the middle of the pitch, where they can actually provide you with a pass. Here, I think you're too far wide. So there's nothing you can really do to actually affect the game from there. Ah, you're hoping for boost. Ah, right, that's okay. I mean, one thing as well, like you don't need 100 boost all the time. Like 50 or even 40 is fine, or even 30. If you're just going up hoping to be past 2, to then take a shot, you only need like 30 boost. You don't need 100 boosts. I wouldn't always be going for the 100 boosts. Maybe drive over like 3 or 4 of the mini ones, and you're still going to get like another, what is it from each little pad? Is it like 12 boost? Drive over like 3 of them, and you've already got like nearly 40 boost anyway. I thought collecting boost was the whole part of the game. Yeah. It's that and just, constant ball chasing. That's how you win. Sorry, let's just replay that for the goal. So obviously you're getting back into defense. I think your teammates have just messed up there. You were the third man in defense, going to the back post. And yeah, I think you probably expect them to deal with that, so that's not really your fault. Staying back in goal. I think staying back in goal there is actually a really good idea, because you're in this position to actually knock the ball up the pitch. If your teammates mess up the kickoff, even in like champ level like 3s, or even when I like queue with like champ 2s and stuff, I still stay in goal, because it's like sod's law. Every time you don't stay there, you'll concede. So that's actually a good thing to do. It's a nice goal from your teammate. I'm not even sure how that happened. What I would say here is, you're in net, and you're almost kind of like under the goal, which is alright. And then Muzino has knocked the ball on your backboard, and Jukebox and Banjo, they're already going for it, so I'll just leave the ball. You can't add anything to the ball that's going to be more useful than what they can add to the ball, so they've already got a chance to clear it. So I would have just sort of left that ball, just so you weren't all kind of triple committing with the clear. But it's kind of worked out in the end, so I suppose you've got away with it. So second man going for 100 boost, that's fine. Obviously now you're third. Teammates are smashing into each other, and somehow they've scored. Alright. See, this is what I mean. Like I was saying in the last game, it's just as likely that the other team could have made all the same mistakes that your team made, and it looks like that's what's happening in this game so far. Decent kickoff for your teammate to get onto. Oh, he's dead. That's unfortunate. So Banjo, as first man, needs to make a challenge. That's good. Yeah, don't do that. So seeing here, so obviously Banjo made a challenge. You can't reach that. Like unless you have a really fast aerial and you're really proficient at aerials, you aren't gonna make that. So tag out, you know, let your teammate behind you get that, and you can rotate back to be like last man. That's like a super risky thing to do. Everyone else in this game is diamond. My teammates used to be champ 1 or 2. Okay, that's fine. So your teammates missed that. That's fine. Again, I wouldn't necessarily want to like punt the ball into the wall. Like, if you can take possession, like catch the ball, maybe just try and drive up the ball. Kind of like almost like you're wasting a bit of time to give your teammate some time to get into a position so you can then pass to them. But instead you've kind of like just lost the ball. So like think about maybe retaining possession a bit more sometimes. So that's fine, playing a second man. Obviously it wasn't really like a pass, so you couldn't really get onto that. Alright, so that's a bit unfortunate, because somebody should be covering that goal. I'd say it's probably Banjo's responsibility to be covering that goal, if that shot's on target. And it looks like he is, so that's fine. Teammate missed it, so obviously you followed up on the challenge, that's good. Again, like I was saying before, you went a challenge there, but you've missed, that's fine, because it's all about putting pressure on the opponent. Bit unfortunate to miss that one. So you're rotating back as third man, so that's good. Banjo's going for like some solo play, which he's not going to make. So that's kind of risky, I'd say, if you're playing cautiously. Obviously, Jukebox has missed it. You're still last man. Luckily, all of the opponents are all just sitting in goal, so like they shouldn't be doing that. If they were a bit higher rank, they would be kind of following the kind of proper defensive rotation, and there'd be one of them making a challenge right now. And obviously if you miss the ball and they make that challenge, that's like a free goal for them. So again, maybe just think about not going up too much and going for too many balls as third man. So Banjo's covering the goal, you're next in line, that's good. Making a challenge. So you got no boost. Full boost, that's good. Rotating back, letting Jukebox take it. So, okay, Banjo's going for it. So this is okay. Like I say, you just need to keep up the pressure on the opponents. Don't give them a chance to, you know, clear it and get boosts, that sort of thing. Rotating back, letting Banjo take over. Yeah, there's just like a few sort of positional mistakes, like here, like you don't want to be. So I'll just rewind this for a sec. So like, really, if you kind of look at this rotation, Jukebox is like. Oh, sorry, Rocket League is just totally froze. What the hell? So you're going back. You were arguably last man there. You're still sort of last man. So Banjo's going back for boosts. Jukebox is sort of first man making the challenge. So as second man, you need to be on like the near post. So like if you kind of follow like a rough, this is like just like a rough defensive rotation. But like your first man is making the challenge, your second man is on the near post, and then your third man in defense will be on, you know, the back post or the backboard. And if you roughly follow that until you gain possession, that's going to keep you relatively safe. So in this position, you are next in line for a challenge, but you need to be further back because you can't really do anything there. And obviously, you've ended up kind of driving towards the goal to try and cover your own goal. Whereas ideally, you want to be, if you can, driving out of your goal to cover it. rather than coming in towards it. What an awkward rotation, lol. Yeah, that was a bit awkward. So, last man. Obviously, your teammates sort of crash into you, which isn't ideal. That's fine. Keeping up good pressure. Letting your teammate take a shot. It's good. So, at this point, I would have hoped that Jukebox would have came up and you can instantly be last man, just to keep up the pressure. That's alright. So Jukebox has had a challenge. He's going for another challenge. So like, yeah, you're a bit too close to the action on this one. So Jukebox already has the ball. You want to be maybe he's driving towards the goal, because there was a chance he actually can put a pass in for you. Instead, you've kind of drove towards the ball and like you've sort of double committed. And again here, so you're now second man in defense. Your last man is making the challenge, and you need to be kind of getting back into goal. You aren't going to make a good challenge with like no boost. So you want to just drive back towards goal, pick up as much boost as you can, let your teammate behind you make the challenge. So I don't know if you've maybe confused them by going for the ball. Like if you look at it from their point of view, sorry, give me one sec. I'm not really familiar with the replay controls, to be honest. I need to like practice them more. If we just look at this from like Banjo's point of view for a minute. So he's last man, which is fine. He's covering the goal. You've obviously gone to challenge it. But he's not expecting you to make that challenge, because it's probably his responsibility. So try and sort of not cut into the rotation like that. So, you know, first man, that's fine. Opponents are messing up, that's alright. Keeping up good pressure. So there's a triple commit there. Obviously that's not your fault, because you were still recovering from your attack. Just something to be wary of. So it's good that you've got back into defense as the last man, just so you probably recognize the triple commit. Oh dear, that's really unfortunate. So again, I don't know if this is necessarily your fault. Let's take another look at it. So it's a bit awkward that there's like two of you on this wall on this side. So you're last man, so you don't want to be so far across the pitch. You want to be kind of more in line, but as deep as you are now, but more in line with where Jukebox is, just so you can be covering the goal. Because then you had to chase the ball. You're out of position because you've obviously not made the challenge, and you then relied on your teammates to quickly get back and sort of cover it. Okay, kick off. So double commit from your teammates. So yeah, what I'd say if I had to make one point is definitely work on your kind of like the kind of, you know, some people call it like the rule book, like they follow like a rule book when they're playing in a certain position. So as third man in your rule book, you need to know that you need to be able to get in on the action if your teammates are tagging out from attack. But you also need to be in a position where you can actually turn around and make a save, or waste some time until your teammates get back into the defensive rotation. There's actually a really good guide that I read. There's a guy on Reddit wrote a really good third man guide. If you want, I'll stick it in Twitch chat. Because I actually read that quite a while ago, and I've tried to take that on board because it's like a really good guide. It's full of some good sort of tips and stuff. Let me see if I can find it. I think the guy that wrote the that guide, he also does replay reviews as well. If you're interested in sort of getting his perspective, because I think he's a very high ranked player, or he was very high ranked, but I think he does replays for anybody that's interested. But I imagine he might give you sort of similar tips, just working on like your sort of third man decision making and stuff like that. I think I've found the one I'm looking for. So that's it there. So this is a really, really good guide. This guy has actually wrote some other guides as well, which I've sort of saved to look at later. Yeah, I take a read through that. And if you can work on like your third man positioning and not sort of cutting into rotation, I think you'll definitely improve a lot. Is it worth me looking at the other two replays you gave me, or are they just sort of very, very similar games, do you think? If you want as well, I can play a couple of ranked games and just sort of like um, just sort of discuss what I'm doing while I'm playing, just to give you an idea of like my sort of thought process. I think in 3v3 solo, not solo, sorry, just standard, I'm up to like Diamond 3, which is alright. I think I'm only Diamond 2 in solo. Yeah. So yeah, what I'll do, I'll play a couple of like ranked games. I'll just sort of like go over what I'm doing as I'm doing it, just sort of give you an idea of like what you want to be doing differently as third man. Although this is probably going to go really, really badly because I haven't warmed up at all. I haven't played Rocket League for quite a few days, so I'm probably going to be a bit rusty. Yeah, I've got the ball, so that's fine. So it's always good to make sure, oops, messed up that kickoff. It's always good to make sure that everyone knows who's got what. So I'm trying to pass to Mr. Nice Guy, I don't think he has the ball. Okay, I've messed up that challenge. So get back as third man. Let Mr. Nice Guy get it. Okay, that's fine. Take my time. Alright, I don't have that. So Mr. Nice Guy has done a good pass to Stranger. It's actually a decent play. What you probably find is like looking at higher ranked players, they still make like some of the same mistakes, but you probably find the general kind of speed of play is like a bit faster, and obviously you get a few less mistakes the more you go up in rank. So I'm still third man, so I'm doing it overcut in this. Stranger's getting back, so I can afford to go up. I'm lucky that I didn't get the shot on. So I'm rotating back, I'm now last man. Need to be in a position to actually help out. Alright, so Stranger's gone back. Not a good shot from me, unfortunately. I assumed he was going to come up that. I don't know why he's not came up. Alright, I can't save that. I thought Stranger was going to rotate up. So, kind of my fault, kind of his. And I'm not in a position to get back and save that. There's no one in goal. Okay. Can't reach that. So, I was still recovering from the kickoff, so somebody should have been there. I'll stay in defense. Like I say, I like to just sort of sit in the goal, make sure the kickoff doesn't end up going in our goal. I'll take it. Oh shit. Okay, that was my bad. That wasn't a very good. Nice guys got this. Nope. I'm back in defense. I'm last man. I'm not saving that. That's far too fast. That was actually a decent pass from his teammate, to be fair. Alright, I'm not getting that, so Mr. Nice Guy can take it and I'll be last man. He's on the wall for it, it's good. Stranger is going for it. So I'm now third man. Mr. Nice Guy is not up for the action. Nope. Yeah, I just kind of backed out on that. I probably should have... shit. I should have really just not gone for that at all, because like I was saying before, I couldn't make a challenge, so I should have just turned around and let somebody else deal with it. And then we're both sitting in goal. So yeah, this isn't really the best example of a match, but you can see what I'm trying to explain as like third man not going up too much. Leaving that for Stranger. Mr. Nice Guy's got it. Alright. So yeah, you want to be in a position where like you can help out, but you can also defend. Which kind of means being roughly in the middle of the pitch. Obviously that's not always the case. And not being too far up, nor too far down. Alright, I'm going to be first man. Good challenge from me. Obviously it doesn't end up with an opponent, unfortunately. Go for a cheeky little demo. Didn't make it, but that's fine. Alright, so our Stranger's now first man and I'm second. I can't meet that, so I'll let the last guy get it. Not a good shot from me. It's bounced. And we're getting back as third man. I got time to catch the ball. Oh. Alright, kind of my fault. Kind of his fault as well. Both just crashing into each other. Last man, so I gotta save that. I tried a shot, wasn't really powerful enough. So I'm now last man again. I'm not going to go for that obviously, because there's no one else in goal. Let Nice Guy get it. Or Stranger. I'm lucky I got bumped there. I'm still going to be second man. Let Stranger try and get a pass in maybe. Nope, no pass coming, so I'm now second man. Not a good hit from me. I got no boost. So I'm gonna get back. Let Mr. Nice Guy, who's last, he can take it. Although he said he needs boost. Lucky I couldn't reach that. So I'm getting back into defense. Last guy, take it, yep. I couldn't make it. Come on, Stranger, you can hit it up. Nice. Lucky. So ideally, Mr. Nice Guy should be then taking that on. Bad challenge for me. But he didn't come up soon enough, so that was a bit awkward. What does the nice guy take it? Third man, because my teammate went up without me realizing. Mr. Nice Guy's going to pass it in, hopefully. Shit. Oh, shit. My fault. Maybe. But yeah, if you kind of get the general idea, like, you don't want to be getting too close to the action, because you're not going to be able to do anything, really. Don't know how you play with the bats. Too flat, can't hit anything. I don't know. I mean, I think, you know, the choice of hitboxes is really just personal. To be honest, until recently, I have actually been using the Octane in like 2v2 and 3v3 because I feel like it's got a better hitbox for like passing and stuff. But I'm trying to get more used to the Batmobile just for like 1v1 and stuff. Because you can still hit things quite well with the Batmobile, it's just like a bit harder sometimes. And also, like I say, I'm kind of rusty. I haven't played this for like a few days. Like, you can still kind of get pinches and good hits with the Batmobile. You know, stuff like that off the wall. It's just a case of getting used to it, really. Don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, hopefully that was useful for some people. And provided that, you know, if I get some like feedback on this at some point, I would like to do some more of these. So keep an eye out for the stream in future. If you want to send me some more replays, what I'll do actually, if I do another stream, I can either do the other 2 replays you sent me, or if you want to like go away, practice some stuff, come back in a while, and send me some like fresh replays. If there's still like more stuff you want me to look at, and I can do that. But yeah, hopefully that's been useful for you guys, and I'll be trying to sort out another stream in the future. Thanks for the analysis, man. Helps so much. Yeah, no problem. Like I say, if you just kind of work on stuff I mentioned, do I start playing this game in August? Gameplay for me is different week to week. Yeah. Do you know what? If you've only been playing this for like, well, like 6 months, and you're already like plat, that's actually pretty good. Bear in mind, I bought this game a few months after it released, so that's released in like July 2015. I think I bought this in like October 2015, and I've literally spent a year and a half in plat, just like aimlessly hitting the ball. It's only really in like the last sort of year that I've actually started sort of try-harding in this game. And even still, I'll kind of like, I'll try hard for like a month, learn something new, apply it, and then I'll just go back to just not really like focusing on learning or anything. So if you're already plat and you've only been playing for a few months, that's actually like pretty good in my opinion. I'll send you some new replays if you're willing to analyze them again. Yeah, sure, man. Like I say, if you just go away, practice some stuff, see where it takes you in terms of your rank and, you know, general gameplay level. And if you still want some more stuff looking at, I'm happy to do that. And as for the other 2 guys I've done replays for, Scruffy and Finch, I'll let them know, because I'll be sticking this on YouTube, just so it can be looked at again in the future. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I shall see you guys next time.